look, I've been sick for like the last week or so. Just now getting my voice back, so I haven't got a really chance to talk about it. But it's news that got me pretty excited. Been a couple things happening. Well, first and foremost, man, DC fans, we can finally breathe. We officially know the fate of the new DCU following the massive Netflix takeover. The DCU is safe. It is confirmed that James Gunn and Peter Safran are staying on as CEOs of the DC studios. Despite the $82 million merger, the DC slant is safe. So, before I dive in a little bit more here, so Netflix, of course, purchased Warner Brothers. Paramount came in, hostile bid. Warner Brothers declined it. They're going to move forward with Netflix and do business with them. So a lot of skeptics have been like, okay, well, what's going to happen with the DCU? Is Netflix going to start fresh? There's even been those little quirky rumors about the Snyderverse coming back, which, people in their pipe dreams, that's not happening. But Netflix isn't stupid, just for one, okay? They are a smart business. Despite them not having all the different IPs and the different names of projects that they can play with and without licensing, of course, they're still the number one streamer on the market. It just speaks volumes. They're not stupid. They know the DCU is their biggest weapon, or one of their biggest weapons, especially when it comes to, the battle of, Disney, Marvel. So they need gun stability, my opinion, right now to launch it. So my question for you guys is: are you relieved that the Gunverse is safe, or were you secretly hoping that Netflix was gonna cancel it all and of course get down on the knees for your boy Zack Snyder? That's not gonna happen. But let me know what you guys think. But I think, look, this is continuity is what's needed right now for the DCU. You could like what James Gunn is doing or not, but continuity is key at this moment. We're a couple movies in. We already got Supergirl right around the corner. You got Lanterns already being done. You got Clayface already done filming. I mean, there's stuff that's already done. So what's the point of canceling it now? And then of starting something fresh. Continuity is key right now. Despite what you thought, but Superman was awesome. I thought Superman was awesome, and a lot of fans thought it was awesome as well. Now Supergirl, I'm a little skeptic about Supergirl, just because I thought that was pretty ballsy on their part to like, okay, we're gonna go Superman, Supergirl, but you don't introduce Wonder Woman or Batman yet. So that's my only little nitpick there. But more DC news fans, we finally know who's praying. And it's somebody I'd never even heard of. How nuts is that? So, with the news that Gunn Safran is safe, I think it's pretty safe to say, like, there's no reason for us to continue to talk about it, Now, after their contracts are up and after a few movies, we'll see what happens. But at this current moment, they're safe. So now we can just truly focus on what they're going to give us with the DCU and what can we expect from the DCU. Well, of course, we know Supergirl's around the corner, along with Lanterns, Clayface, but there was already announced that the Man of Tomorrow was going to come. Now, the Man of Tomorrow is a Superman and Lex Luthor team up to, of course, take on Brainiac. Now, there was rumors about a week ago, several weeks now, over the last couple weeks have been about Matt Smith playing Brainiac, or Klaus Bang playing Brainiac, or Sam Rockwell's in contention to play Brainiac. Well, we actually got Brainiac now, and it is somebody, one, I never heard of, but this is a person that was on nobody's list to take on the mantle of this evil out-of-worldly being. And that is actually going to be played by Lars Eigenberg, or Eidinger, will play the character. So if anybody's unfamiliar, I'm going to throw a picture of him up right here. But he's a German actor, and this is the guy that's gonna play our Brainiac. Now I will say the guy's voice is pretty sick. His voice is pretty cool sounding. So it's just so, man, James Gunn, man, this is just the stuff he does, man. He just gets people you never even heard of. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, he just gets actors that you never heard of. He appreciates their work and he gives them an opportunity. And this goes to say, this reminds me almost a little bit like what they did with Loki. And when the Marvel first started, Loki was the big bad. It's the first Avengers movie. Loki was the big bad, right? But Tom Hiddleston, nobody knew who Tom Hiddleston was before he was on Loki. Nobody did. Hell, nobody really knew who Chris Hemsworth was before he played Thor. So I think James Gunn is taking that same approach. He's like, we're going to let these characters sell, not the actors. And I kind of like that method because it worked for Marvel, right? Thor made tons of money. Now, Chris Evans was relatively known. He previously played, Human Torch. So he played a few rom-coms and stuff like that. It wasn't not necessarily a star, but, he knew of him, right? And then for him to play Captain America. Robert Downey Jr., who, was a premier actor in the 80s and the 90s. He had a checkered history. He went through some shit. And, nobody thought him to play Iron Man and it would be fantastic. Nobody thought about that. And then, James Gunn's like, I'm going to take that same approach because, we got to make some money on these movies. There's no point for me to pay an actor $50 million, for this, or hell, even more nowadays. So he's smart, man. He got David Cornsweet, who, I really didn't know David Cornsweet. I never watched House of Cards. I never watched Pearl or nothing like that. So I didn't really know who the guy was. And he embodies Superman fantastically. I knew who Lois Lane was. She was, of course, from The Marvelous Miss Maisel, which was a great show. Nicholas Hoult was relatively known. Nick Holt's a very popular actor, because how talented he is. So, James Gunn, man, he's on this trend again. Very little to well-known actors taking on huge roles, and I think it's going to work out. I think it's going to work out great. Check out, look, when you guys get a chance, if you don't watch this, go and look up Lars Eidinger, or how do you ever the hell say his name, and go look up just a couple snippets of like his voice and stuff like that. Dude's got an incredible voice, and I can see what James Gunn saw, that behind the Brainiac. Now he's gonna have these prosthetics on. He's gonna, it's gonna be really cool. It's gonna be really cool. So let me know what you guys think down below. You excited that James Gunn is staying place in the DCU and they're gonna have some continuity, and so DCU is safe? And then what do you think about the Brainiac casting? I like it. It threw me for a whirlwind. I was like, who the hell is this guy? But after going on YouTube and going back and watching a couple clips from certain movies he was in, the dude's voice is incredible, and I think that's the big part of what Brainiac's going to be about. Yeah, he'll have prosthetics, so the voice is going to be real key. So I'm excited. I think it's a great casting choice. For all of us betting men out there, we all lost money on it. This is somebody we never thought was going to take the role or be in contention for the role even, but they are, and they got it, and now things are really starting to move forward. So I'm really excited. We got Brainiac. We got a cool actor. I think is going to really embody that role. So I'm excited. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. And if you haven't got a chance to like the video, please like the video for more Real Rumble content.